Welcome to the fourth session on basics of Python programming. In this session, I will demonstrate how to use control flow statements in Python. So this is fourth session. Control flow statements and loops also. I will demonstrate control flow statements and loops in this short video. So control flow statements means, as most of you are aware of these control flow statements, if, else ifs, if statements, else statements, if else statements, break statements, continue statements, all these constructs, all these paradigms were supported by Python. So first we will see these control flow statements. So control flow statements means what? The program will execute, and then after reaching this control flow statement, the control may change from, it may skip some statement. So the control flow may change from the next statement to, it may go to somewhere else. So that's why these are called control flow statements. These statements will alter the flow of program control. So it was supposed to run one by one step by step. After the step, it has to go to the next step. But the control may skip the next step and it may go somewhere else, or it may come back. It may, from here it may go back also. So these are called control flow statements. So first we'll see if statement, then we'll see, with example we'll see if else statement, then if else if statements, then these loops we'll see next. So first let us start with if statements. So as you know, if statement means, let us say if statement, right? This is okay. First let me take input, otherwise, okay. Let me take input from user. This we have already discussed. Input function. Enter input. Enter an integer between 1 and 10, let us say. Let me store it in this A. It was running, still running. So we will give input, some integer between 1 and 10. Let me give some 7, some let us say 4. Okay, let me just enter. Now we'll see what is there in A. So it was storing a string. Let me see the type of A. Type of A is string. So what I will do is I will convert into integer. Here I can use this inbuilt function int. It will convert into integer. I will read input. So let us say 4. Then I will convert it to integer. That 4 will be stored in A. Now we will see what is type of A. It is integer. Now what is there in A? 4. This is good. Now we have some integer. So user will enter something that I am converting into integer. That's all right. Now we will see how to use if loops. Let us say I wanted to print whether the input that was entered by the user, whether it is odd number or even number. So we can use this keyword like all other programming language. We have to use this keyword if. After if, you have to write the condition. So let us say if A mod, this operator we have already seen, if A mod is equals to 0, this is equality operator. This also we have seen, relational operator. This is arithmetic operator. If A mod 2 is equals to 0, then let me print even number. Okay, that's all right. First we will see if statement. So we have to use a keyword if. This is the condition. One more thing I wanted to emphasize here is, in Python there is no need to use these curly braces like C programming. What we do, we write if statement with condition, then we will open some curly braces, then after if statement we will close the curly braces. So in Python there is no need to use these curly braces for what? Which defines the body of a function, body of a loop. But here no need to define, no need to use the curly braces. Then how the system will know what is the content of this if loop? Let us say, how it will know? So let us say I am writing two statements. Print number is divided by number is multiple of 2. Let us say number is multiple of 2. That's why I am defining even number. These two statements I wanted to print. If it is C programming or C++ or Java maybe, we will use these curly braces. This is, so this will define the body of this if loop, right? These two statements need to be printed if this is true. But here I am saying that there is no need of using these curly braces, first thing. Then how we will define, then how the system will know that this is part of this if statement, right? So in C programming, if we write like this, then this is only part of if loop, right? We'll see when we discuss else loop, then we will realize. So now the system has to know that these two statements are part of this if loop. How? So for this, here we have to use a symbol called column. So now the moment the system is column, then it will realize that the next statements that are coming are part of this if loop. And then one more thing is, we have to use indentation in Python. So far we have not used indentation because so far we have only executed a single statements, single line statements. Now we are running, we are writing multiple statements. Now you see. So this is called indentation. So the next statement, so since the statement is inside if loop, this should be one tab inside the if. You see, if starts here. So print has to start one tab inside this if loop. This is called indentation. So that's why there is no need of using curly braces. Now let us see, let us run this one. So these two statements were printed. Number is multiple of 2. It is a even number. So this is if. Now we'll see how to use if else statement. So same thing, if a mod 2 is equals to 0, then what? And then I simply print even number. Otherwise I wanted to print odd number. Now otherwise, so like other programming languages, we can use else. Else is a keyword. Now you see the indentation of this else. So the else has to be aligned with this one, because in C programming how we write this one? We write like this one, right? That's why this even number, this statement should be indented, and then the indentation of else should be same as indentation of if. Then else I wanted to print, it is a odd number. Now let me run it. Now it is even number. Now let me change the input. Let me run this one again. Let me give 7. I think it is done. Now what is there in A? It is 7. Now let me run this one. You see, odd number. Now sometimes I wanted to add conditions inside else part also, right? That's where this Elsif will come. So Python also supports these Elsif statements. Now we'll see Elsif statement also with the same example. So let me write here, if A is divided by 2, means if A modulo 2 is equals to 0, then it is even number. Here I wanted to write, before giving it as odd number, I wanted to check. So this is the keyword Elsif. ELIF stands for Elsif. Elsif, I want to check whether A, what I want to check, A mod 3 is equals to 0. So this is for odd number that is multiple of 3 or not multiple of 3, right? Because 5 is an odd number, but it is not a multiple of 3. 3 is a odd number which is a multiple of 3. Similarly, 9 is a odd number multiple of 3. But 7 is a odd number which is not a multiple of 3. This I wanted to print. I want to write multiple of 3. Otherwise 7. Otherwise odd number I am printing. Otherwise, okay, this odd number I wanted to write. Let us say odd number and multiple of 3. Here I am writing odd number but not multiple of 3. Right. Now for the same input 7, what it will print? It will print odd number but not multiple of 3. You see here, note that if ELIF, else statement, they should be indentation, means same indentation has to be maintained for all these three statements. And the statement that you write inside else, inside Elsif, inside if should be one tab inside the if. This you have to know. And one more thing I wanted to say here is, here also we have to use this column symbol. If you ignore, if you forget this column symbol, then it will return a error, you see, invalid syntax. Here you have to use column. Everywhere you have to use column. At the end of if statement you have to use, at the end of ELIF, at the end of ELSE, else you have to use this column symbol. So this is the syntax of if. So with this simple example, I have demonstrated the use of means how we can use if, else if and else statements. Now let me change the input and this is the last time I will show you. Let me give 5. Now what is there in here? It is 5. Now what it will give? The output it will give is odd number but not multiple of 3. Let me give 9. Let me give 9. What is there in here? 9. Now let me run. What it will run? It will give odd number and multiple of 3. So this is about this control flow statements. Again, we will come back to these control flow statements and we will discuss this break and continue statements. But before that, let me discuss this loops. So basically, Python supports 2 looping statements. One is for loop, the other one is while loop. So let me write loops, loops, directly write loops, enough. Now we'll see these loops. So it supports for and it supports while. Now we'll see how to define for loop, then we'll see how to define while loop. With simple examples only I will demonstrate. You can extend the same idea to complex examples. So same like other programming languages, it also uses a keyword for. But from now onwards, the entire structure is different. So in C programming, how the for loop will be? The for loop will be, there is a initialization, then there will be a condition, then some updation, increment operator, I equals to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. So first let me write C statement and let me convert into Python. So in C, suppose you wanted to implement this one, for I equals to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. This we write, and we write some statement inside this one, like this, right? We'll write some statements, print statement, something. Now we'll see how to implement the same operation in Python. So in Python, we use the keyword for, and then you can use some variable here, any variable. Let me use some same thing, I. Then there is a keyword in. This is fixed. This is the syntax for keyword. Some variable name you can give, any variable. Then in is a keyword. Then here you have to give some iterable. Iterable means what? Means what? Some sequence of items over which you can iterate one by one. One by one you can iterate. That's why these are called iterables. Iterables means sequence of items over which you can iterate one after another. That's why these are called iterables. So here you have to give for I. Let me first write the syntax. Then let me for a variable, some variable name. In is a keyword. and then in, then you have to give a iterable here. Then you have to end with this statement colon. Now let us see. Let us start with some simple example. For I in some iterable, right? So the common iterable used in Python is like this one, range of 10, let us say. Close it and let me write print I. So let me delete this one. Okay, otherwise I will leave it, but what I will do is I will convert into text. How to convert this into text? I think I have to change this. Okay, let me delete this one, but this is the syntax. This I wanted to, okay, let me add a text here, right? Yeah. Now let me delete this cell. So now you may get a doubt. You see here I have written initial value, condition, increment operation. Here we are not doing anything. We are simply writing I in range of 10. How it will work? Do you think it will work? Yes, it will work. Now the next question is, okay, it will work, but how it will work? Where is the initial condition? So this is where I discussed about this range function in the first video. Range of 10. What it will give you? Range of 10? Elements starting from 0 till 10, excluding 10, means 0 to 9, with step length of 1. Let me show you again. Range of 10. Let me, but it will not print. So that's why I used list also. I am converting into list and I am printing. These are the elements you see. 0, starting from 0 up to 9 with a step length of 1. Step length of 1 means what? 0 plus 1, 1. 1 plus 1, 2. 2 plus 1, 3, and so on. Now, so basically when you give range of 10, the initial value is starting from 0. So the initial value is 0. So initial value is okay. Where is the condition? Condition is this number itself is condition. When it is 10, it will break from this loop, right? Now where is the update statement? I plus plus. Where is the update statement? I said the step length is, the default step length is 1. So this is like I equals to I plus 1, I equals to I plus plus, right? Now let us run this one. Now you see what it is printing. It is printing, you see, numbers from 0 to 9. You see again, indentation has to be maintained. The statements inside for loop has to be inside the for loop. This first statement, one tab inside this first statement. So I hope it is clear. Now suppose you wanted to change the initial value. How to change initial value? Here in the first video I have shown 3 versions of range. So if you want to change initial value to 2, so you can give 2 to 10 with print I. Now it will return an error because it should be indented. Indentation is not coming because you have to use a column symbol here, then indentation will come. See 2 to 9. Now you wanted to change the update statement. I don't want I equals to I plus plus, I want I equals to I plus 2. How you will write? Same thing, extend the same idea. Use the third version of range. 2, 10, step length. I will give a step length of, let us say 2 plus 3, 5, 5 plus 3, 8. Let us say 3. It will print 2, 5 and 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. So it will come out of this for loop. So I hope the for loop is clear. The basic syntax is one keyword for, then there is a variable name, then there is a keyword in, then some iterable list. Here you can give anything. Here you can give a dictionary also. We'll see those things. Dictionary also we can give here. So otherwise let me show you how to use dictionary here. Iterable. It can be anything. Not necessarily a list. You can give tuple. You can give a list. Anything. So let me. Okay. Now let me give a list, because here I am not giving anything. Here I am giving range function. Now let me give some iterable here for loop. Let me define some list. list equals to 12, 34, 56, 78, 12, 34, 56, 78, okay, 23, 67. Let us say this is the list. Now I wanted to what I wanted to do, I wanted to print these elements for I in list. This is a iterable, that's all. For I in list, what I want to do, I wanted to print in the reverse order, let us say, in the reverse order now. So if you want to print the elements in the reverse order, then what you have to do, either you have to find length, right? First find length using using length function, length of list. This will give you the length, unexpected end of the file, I in list. Okay, here, okay, this I have not filled. Okay, now let me run here. What is there in length? You see length, you find the length 7. Then using a for loop, you can print this length minus I minus 1, because I starts from 0 here, right? So length minus 0 means last element can be accessed using length minus I minus I. If I is 0, I wanted to access the last element, so length minus I minus 1. So let me print this one now. Now you see the what it was printing, print, oh length, okay, indexes it was printing, length minus I is okay, directly let me print, otherwise this is not required. I wanted to print elements in the reverse order, no need of this length. What I will do, I will simply print using the negative indexing, list of minus 1, right? Minus 1 means what? This is 0 minus 1, okay, 1 minus 1, minus 1, minus 2, so minus 1 times the index. This is not index. Okay, let me directly print elements first rather than in reverse order. Let me print I directly, that's all, for simplicity, no need of confusion. 12, 34, 5, 6, 78, 23, 67. I will say this reverse while dealing with functions. You see, so it is, earlier we have seen with range, now we have seen with list. Now similarly, let me show you how to deal with dictionaries. Let me create a dictionary D1 equals to name something, I will give, then name, let me give proper name only, Bala is (32) phone number 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, like this. Let us say only this one. Now you see, while defining dictionaries, I forgot to tell this one. This is the key, and you have to use a column symbol, then you have to give value. Okay, then you have to separate items using a comma. Then this is the next item, key, column symbol, value, then comma, then key, column symbol, value, and so on. Now this is the dictionary. Now how to iterate over this dictionary for I in D1? So here I used 3 functions. I have shown you 3 functions: values, items, and keys. Let me call you items, D1.items, and let me print this one. Print, but let me print I. You see here, it was printing item by item. This is the first item, this is the second item, this is the third item. Now You can access both key and value using this one for I comma j in d1 dot items. Okay, now print I, then the next line print j. Now let us say, now you see what happens. You see, so therefore it says that d1 dot items will give a tuple. So the first item of first tuple will go into I, second item in the first tuple will go to j. So the first item is name, first value will go into j. So name Bala, age 32, phone number, and so on. You see, can you see this one? So the basic syntax of for loop is for variable name, in keyword, a iterable list, then this particular column symbol, then write some statements inside for loop. If you are writing multiple statements or a single statement, whatever it may be, you have to use indentation. Now we will see while loop. What is this while loop? Same. How to define while loop in Python? Keyword while, then write some condition. Now let us say same for loop I will write for I ranks from 0, I less than 10. Condition I am using directly. Print I, then I am updating I equals to I plus 1. That's all. Let me run it directly. So it was printing from 0 to 9. It is same as like C programming. While keyword, only thing is this one, this column symbol and indentation. That is the only difference we have seen with while loop. But for loop, it is very easy and very powerful, right? See, we can use these iterators like lists and all these things we have used. Now, so these are loops. Now suppose the next control flow statements. Again, I will go back to control flow statements. What are these control flow statements? If else, if else we have seen, Elsif. Now suppose you wanted to use break statement and continue statement. How to use break and continue statement? Same, Python supports two keywords called break and continue, using which you can implement. Let us say break, you wanted to, for I in range of, let us say 20. You are printing. And I don't want to print up to 20, I wanted to break in between. So I will check a condition. If I is equals to 7, I will break, let us say. What I will do, I will simply, after printing, I will break. That means this loop will run up to 7 only, although the range, I in range is up to 19, 0 to 19. Let me run 0 to 7 only. After 7, it will break. Now you see all the statements inside for loop, they are one tab inside for statement. Similarly, all the statements inside if, it went two breaks inside if, you see, from for if you see, this is two tabs inside for, but from you see if, it is one tab inside if. So this is the indentation you have to maintain. As you write more and more loops, so let us say you are writing 3 for loops. Let me write here. To this I leave. Let me write here. Let us say for I in range of 10, then for j in range of 10. Let us say for k in range of 10. Print I star, j star, k, let us say. Now you see, from the first for loop, you see, this is one tab inside, this is 2 tabs inside, this is 3 tabs inside. From second for loop, if you see, this is 1 tab inside, this is 2 tabs inside. From third for loop, if you see, this is 1 tab inside the third for statement. So this is called indentation. This kind of indentation we have to maintain. Let me reduce and show you, because otherwise it will occupy the screen, entire screen. That's why all zeros, all ones, and then it is showing, right? Because the starting index is 0. That's why most of the time it was giving zeros. When all are when all are non-zero, then only it was giving the values. So then this is for loops. So since I have discussed loops, let me take this opportunity to discuss a idea known as list comprehension. So what is this list comprehension? We have already seen for loops also, right? Suppose let us say you wanted to create a list with all multiples of 13. Let us say 13. How you will write? All multiples of 13 I want. I want to create a list with multiples of 13. Let us say up to 20. So first let me define a list. This is the basic way, list. Then what I will do, this is an empty list. Then for I in, using for loop, for I in range of, let us say 20, up to 20. So I will go up to 21, because 0 to, it will go up to, okay, let me run from 1 to 21. 1 to 21 means, you know, it will go from 1 to 20 with step length of 1. Now what I wanted to do, print, not print, list dot append. What I will do, append means it will add at the end, right? What I will do, I will multiply with 13 star I. Now we will see what is there in list. 13, 26 and 260. It is good, but still we are using a for loop. You see, we are using 3 statements. We are initializing a list. We are multiplying, then we are adding elements. We are using a for loop also. All these things we are writing. So to avoid all this, there is a idea known as list comprehension. What is this list comprehension? How it works? So this list comprehension, it will avoid all these 3 statements, and you can do these kind of tasks in a single statement. What is this single statement? Let us say what you wanted to do. Let us say for I in range of 1, 21. For these things, what you wanted to do? You want to multiply with I with 13, and you want to store in a list. So use list brackets. So note that here no need to use the colon symbol. Simply write for I in range of 1, 21, and for each I what you are doing? You are multiplying with the 13, and then you are appending to the list. That's why we kept this list bracket. Square brackets means list. Now let us see what is the output of this one. See, it is same as that one. The same thing that we implemented with 3 statements or 4 statements can be done with this single statements. Not only single for loop, you can use 2 for loops also. Suppose we are using 2 for loops here. Let us say for I comma this one, for j in range of, okay, not here, let me write new one. Otherwise let me write new one. Let us say for I in range of 1, 21, and for j in range of 1, 21. Let us say you wanted to add to the list dot append I star j, all multiples of this one. Let us say list is empty. So all these statements can be implemented in a single line. How to write these things in a single line? Let me come down here. Yeah. Now how to write these statements in a single line? You simply write for I in range of 1, 21, and for j in range of 1, 21, for j in range of 1, 21. And not only loops, you can use statements also, conditions also you can use. All these things you can do using this list comprehension. So this is the power of list comprehension. You can write I star j. You can use curly braces like this. You see, it was printing all multiples I star j. So this is the idea of list comprehension. So I will conclude this video here. I will stop here.